Welcome to my apartment. Um, Today I'm going to talk about some of the music that I've been listening to lately. Ethel Cain, someone that I work with, recommended that I listen to Preacher's Daughter, and I had tried to listen to it before and didn't get into it. I totally understand why now, because now that I recognize her artistry, I find myself easily just like, when I hear a new song from her, I'm like, yeah, this is it. But when I was unfamiliar with her work, I would hear a song and be like, what is this? And I would have to listen to it like many times to really appreciate what she's doing. Like with the melodies are so intricate and her voice is so stunning. And then the writing on top of it all it's a great album, Preacher's Daughter. Probably my favorite album of the year, even though it didn't come out this year, but for me it basically did. So it's one of my favorite albums of the year. Yeah. Top tracks off Preacher's Daughter. Family Tree. Been loving that one. I've went through phases with them. Hold on, I'll tell you what my phases were. I have to find it first. I became an Apple Music user as of like last year around this time. And one aspect I don't like about Apple Music is that they don't show you your recently played. When you open up the app, they only show you your recently added music. And so it's like I'm listening to albums that I added a year ago more today than I'm listening to albums that I added 2 weeks ago, but I have to scroll through my whole album list to get to that. Anyways, I found it. When I first started listening to the album, I loved American Teenager, I loved House in Nebraska, I loved Thoroughfare. Those were my songs. As I got more and more into it, Family Tree quickly climbed up there. Gibson Girl shot up there until I really started paying attention to the lyrics and what it was about, and that kind of ruined Gibson Girl for me. In case you don't know the Ethel Cain lore, the story of Preacher's Daughter is about this girl named Ethel Cain who grew up in Alabama. She falls in love with this guy named Willoughby Tucker. In high school, he leaves her. She runs away after she turns 18 and falls in love with a couple different guys until the last guy ends up murdering her. So that's the story of the album. And Gibson Girl is at a point in the story where the second guy she's with, the guy who kills her, he, from my understanding, kind of like traffics her out of the back of a strip club. I don't know. When I listen to that song now, I really only listen to it in when I'm listening through the whole album, and it does unsettle me a lot. Same thing with Ptolemaea. I think Ptolemaea is an excellent song, but I really only listen to it in the album because it's just too much to listen to by itself, So after that second batch of songs that I started to get into a little bit more, then I got into Sun Bleached Flies and Strangers. And I listened to Sun Bleached Flies to death because that song is gorgeous. And also I got really into the Ethel Cain Willoughby Tucker lore because her new album called Willoughby Tucker I'll Always Love You is coming out in August, and so that song directly ties into their lore and their relationship, and so I was like, I need it. Whatever can be given to me, I need it. So I ate that one up. Strangers, I am just now really falling in love with that song, which is crazy. It's like, how did I not appreciate these songs to begin with? Because they're excellent songs, but I just didn't. Whatever. That's just how music is. Sometimes it takes a while to digest something and to really connect with it, but that doesn't mean it's bad. But typically, I can recognize when I first listen to something. Hey, Elsie. I can recognize if I'm gonna end up really loving it eventually, or if it's kind of not for me from the get-go. And I always knew that if I really gave this album time, that I would love it. Now, Perverts, her EP she came out with earlier this year. I don't feel that connection to that album or that EP, but I think that's fine. I think it's a very experimental EP that is made for a very specific type of music listener, and it's a type of music listener that I am not. So, yeah. But Will It Be Tucker, I'll Always Love You? That's an album I'm excited for. Yeah, Preacher's Daughter, I would give a 10 out of 10. No notes, no criticisms. It's a perfect album. And I think it deserves a lot more critical acclaim. I don't necessarily think it would ever get, like, a ton of, like, what's the word when something's really popular? I don't know. There's, like, critical acclaim, but then there's, like, public acclaim, you know? I don't think it would get a lot of public acclaim. It's not going to top the Billboard 100 or whatever. And I don't think it should. You know, it's not for the masses. It's for people who really love storytelling and the artistry of music.